What's going on, guys? I hope everyone had a good Christmas. I just wanted to do a quick video today about the medical kit that I recently put together. This is a bleeding control kit for, traumatic bleeding that you would get from a serious wound to your, body, which could be from a knife or some type of sharp object. It could be from a gunshot wound. It could be from some type of something that's gonna penetrate your body or stab you. It could be like a metal rod or some type of pole. This is designed to control bleeding. This is not like like a Band-Aid type kit or like a first aid kit. This is a trauma kit. So I just wanted to do a quick review of the components, the pouch, and what I have inside. So first thing I'll do is go over the the color. I have it in olive drab because olive drab is very universal. It works well with a lot of the backpacks that I have. It matches. Olive drab is the type of color that's pretty much multi-seasonal. So this will have like a low visibility, it's kind of low vis. If you have this on the side of your pack, it's not going to stand out in pretty much any season, and it'll go well with different types of camouflages, because green is something that's found. The olive green is like a color that's pretty much found in any type of camouflage pattern. Same thing with like a black or coyote brown. Those are pretty much like universal colors, but a lot of my packs are green, so I chose olive drab. So the actual pouch here, this is HSGI. That's the name of the brand. It's High Speed Gear Inc. It's made in the USA. It's very high quality. So it's HSGI is the name of the company, High Speed Gear Inc. And it's made in the USA. It's nice high quality nylon. I'm not sure if this is like a 500 denier or 1,000 denier, but it's just right. It's not too thick. It's not too stiff like some of the other ones like Maxpedition. They're a little too stiff. This one's just right. It came with these two Molly clips. It's like a malice clip, but it's got like this system where you don't really need to use like a screwdriver. Like traditional malice clips are a little bit hard to get out. Once you snap it in, you have to use a screwdriver to get it out. But this is nice because you can just, snap it, and then you can just, basically the way it just has this little hole here with a slot, and it just goes into this hole. And so you can just undo it easily. You don't need a screwdriver. It's not a pain in the rear to get it undone. It has this laser cut panel here, and it has also on the sides of the pouch, which I have this tourniquet attached on the side here with a condor tourniquet pouch. It has these three laser cut Molly panels on each side, so you can attach like I did. I have this tourniquet pouch here. This is a condor tourniquet pouch with a Cat Gen 7 tourniquet, which that's definitely a high quality tourniquet. You don't want to go cheap on a tourniquet. So the way this works is basically with the condor tourniquet pouch, you just pull this out, and I could either I could actually just pull the tourniquet out right like that, or if I want to, I can undo it here as well. But I just have it set up so I can just pull it right out. And tourniquet, this is the Cat Combat Application Tourniquet Gen 7. That's a military issue tourniquet. It's used by it's officially used by the Army, and not sure what other services use it, but the Army uses it. And so a tourniquet is critical, because if you have arterial bleeding, if your artery gets hit by something or cut by something, traditional pressure bandages and you know, applying pressures, in many cases it won't be enough. You have to close the artery down. It's like a hose. You know, imagine like you have a hose in your garden and it's full of water, and then you take a knife and you cut the hose and it starts leaking out. You have to pinch the hose before the cut to stop it. I'm not going to really do a video on how to do it. I'll do a separate video on that, showing how to apply the tourniquet and stuff like that. I'm not a medical technician. I'm not an EMT, but you know, it's not rocket science either. You know, the basic thing is high and tight. So you want to put the tourniquet on as high as possible on the limb. If you're unsure of, let's say you don't know where the actual wound is and you're kind of unsure where to place the tourniquet, you know, worst case scenario, you put it as high as possible on the limb. So if it's like your arm, you know, you put it all the way up near your armpit. If it's on your leg, then you put it up close to your groin. You know, that's for life-threatening arterial bleeding, you know. And so then another thing here is I have these scissors, these shears. This pouch is nice because it's got this on the back here. It has like a little slot where you can put your shears through, and it just has a snap here, so you can unsnap it and then just pull your shears right out. It just has this little slot right here, and the shears just go in there just like that, and then you just snap it through the handle. So this way it they stay you know, where they're supposed to be. They don't fall out. So it's a nice high quality snap. But these are just some I forget the company that made these. A good brand is North American Rescue, but I think I got these some other brand. Doesn't really matter, you know, they're only like $5 or $10. These are 7 1/4 inch shears. But you know, shears, you need those for, you know, if you have to cut clothing out of the way. You know, if it's a traumatic situation, you're not going to have time to, like, you know, take people's pants off or take your shirt off. Let's say you got hit with a bullet, or you cut your arm. You're going to be bleeding a lot. You're not going to have time to, you know, take your shirt off and stuff. You're going to just have to cut around it, cut the material, whatever's around, jacket, you know, boots, whatever, you know, whatever's around the wound. You're going to have to cut it off so you can gain access to it if you're going to apply a pressure or apply tourniquets. So shears are critical. Now this whole thing doesn't weigh much. You know, I would say maybe it's, you know, about 1 pound or so. It doesn't really weigh much at all. It's a little bit bulky, but you can easily fit this on the side of your backpack, you know, a bug out bag, or even on your, if you have like a chest rig or, you know, any type of MOLLE panel. I plan on putting this on my EDC bag, you know, or my get home bag. And then also for any time I go in the woods, you know, it's good to have a trauma kit, because if you cut yourself badly in the woods or something happens, you know, and you're far away from civilization and you can't control the bleeding, you know, you're going to be in trouble. Obviously you can improvise ways to control bleeding in the field. You know, you could create a pressure bandage from your t-shirt or something, but you know, why not just spend a little bit of money and get something, you know, good. And so here we have the main contents of the pouch. And this pouch by High Speed Gear is really cool because it has this D-ring, and what it does is, you know, in a situation where you have trauma, you're not going to have time to like individually start pulling things out. You know, you're going to be full of adrenaline. You're going to start seeing blood pouring out of yourself or somebody else, and you know, you're going to be in a rush. You know, you want to gain access to whatever you need quickly. You know, seconds are critical. You know, same thing with this tourniquet. I want easy access to the tourniquet. That's why I have it attached to the outside. All I got to do is just pull this out and I'm ready to go. And the tourniquet is already set up. You know, I already have it set up. I can just slide it over my arm and start twisting. But here it just has this D-ring, and it's got this little like seatbelt webbing here, and all you do is you just pull on it and everything comes out. Now I could have easily pulled that much quicker. I did that a little bit slow, but you know, just because I don't want everything flying out all over the place here for demonstration purposes. But As you can see, it's just this little, it's like a little seat belt, basically a red one, so it's high visibility. And basically all that does is, you just stuff that in the bottom here, you put your contents in, and then all you do is just pull everything out. I really like that. That's a really simple innovation. Whoever designed that, they should definitely get a raise. And then here they have a Velcro pouch too, if I want to have extra security, or if I'm going to be accessing this on a regular basis and I don't want to deal with the buckle, then I can use Velcro. But for my purposes, I don't want to have Velcro because this is an emergency kit. So they have this little panel here so I can cover it up if I don't want to use it. And so this way I just have it set up with the buckle. So if I need quick access to the contents, all I do is just unsnap it and pull this out, and everything comes out in a matter of 1 or 2 seconds, and I'm ready to treat myself or treat somebody else. Now, as far as the contents go, it's very simple. All I have here are 2 pairs of rubber gloves. These are from a company called Live Action Safety. They're out of Oregon. They have a lot of EMT. It's like an EMT supplier, medical supplier, but these are super cheap, and I believe they're sealed in here, so they're obviously sterile. But so I have 2 pairs of gloves. It's always good to have 2 pairs because you may need a second pair for whatever reason. It doesn't weigh much, so I like to have 2 pairs of. They're not rubber; they're actually nitrile. That's mostly if I'm treating obviously other people. I'm gonna probably want to put these on to protect myself from any type of diseases, but also to prevent wound contamination, on yourself or whoever you're treating. Your hands have bacteria on them, so you don't want to, if you can avoid, contaminating somebody's wounds with your bacteria, that's obviously ideal. But in many emergency situations, you may not have time to do that. So, you're just going to want to go right for the tourniquet or, some of these other things here, which I'll get into, but you don't really want to worry too much about it. But I like to have it just in case, But in a bleeding situation, you don't really want to worry too much about contaminating wounds and bacteria. The first thing you want to do is control the bleeding, because that's, especially if it's life-threatening. If it's non-life-threatening, then you can worry about this. This is just a 6-inch Israeli bandage, and if you don't know what that is, you can Google it. But this is all sealed in this bag here, so it's sterile. All I have to do is just tear this open, and it pops right out. But Israeli bandages, it's just basically all it is like it's like an ace bandage that has a closure bar and like a torquing bar that so you can use it to not just wrap around the wound like a typical ace bandage. It has a sterile gauze pad built into it, but it's an ace bandage type thing, so you can wrap it around. Let's say you have a wound, and you can wrap it around it and tie it down real tight, and that'll control the bleeding. It'll put pressure on the wound, so you can go and continue with what you have to do. But I have the Israeli bandage, and then I also have 2 packets of Celox hemostatic granules. These are supposed to be organic, so they're made from like shellfish, like I think it's from some type of chitin. Chitin is what your fingernails are made of. So basically, this is like organic. What you do is you just pour this into a wound, and it packs the wound. It fills up the wound, and then you put pressure on it for 5 minutes with your hands until the bleeding stops. And so this is just a hemostatic control, so just 2 packets of that. So very simple, just the 6-inch Israeli bandage, the 2 packets here, and 2 packets of the Celox, and then these 2 rubber gloves in case for whatever reason I need those, and then my tourniquet. It's a very simple kit, but it's really all you need. And I encourage everyone to put together a kit like this. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but I think that these are the main components. You want to have your Israeli bandage, either 4 or 6 inches. You want to have your tourniquet, and then you want to have your hemostatic agents. You know, I prefer Celox because it's organic. It's not gonna, you know, harm your body. It's non-toxic. They can just, once you get to the hospital, they can just rinse it right out. And then some rubber gloves. This isn't really super critical. I just put that in there. You can also add chest seals if you want to. I may actually do that. I may put some chest seals in there. But for my purposes, you know, I don't really intend on using this in a combat zone. You know, I'm not really worried about being shot in the chest or having my chest punctured where I need to, you know, seal the air off. This is more for like if I'm in the woods, you know, hunting or just messing around in the woods. Let's say I'm, you know, practicing my bug out skills or whatever, and I accidentally cut myself with my knife, or I fall somewhere and I break my leg or something. You know, I'm not really worried about, you know, penetration to my chest, but you can add some chest seals if you want to. So, you know, these are the main components. And like I said, high speed gear. It's a really good pouch. It costs about $30. It's a really good, great pouch. Oh, and then also the shears are important as well. You need those shears so you can access the wound in it quickly. And then you want to have some type of quick deploying sheath for your tourniquet in an area that you can easily access it, you know, right on the outside of your pack or on your vest, so you can quickly get to it, because seconds matter when you're dealing with arterial bleeding. So I hope you guys, you know, check out high speed gear and think about that.